Oh, hello everyone, it's Crypto Granny here. Hope you're all being well, being kind to yourself, being kind to your parents and beautiful friends, and also being kind to your beautiful, beautiful animals. Now today I'm going to talk about the Flare network, and I think it's absolute genius. Flare network is unique. It is like a utility type network, a utility fork. Essentially, it uses the clients of other blockchains to populate its own network with clients so that it can also earn revenue and have a client list already available to it. So on that basis, I think the Flare token will do incredibly well. As far as I'm concerned, they can pretty much go to any blockchain and create smart contract platforms. So in other words, any blockchain out there that's said their competition, or they're specifically in smart contract platforms, in the future it's not going to actually give them a competitive advantage, which is a big thing. The Flare network, as far as I'm concerned, is brilliant. It's a brilliant idea, and XRP Ripple actually invested in the Flare network, and also XRP was the first coin on that network. Not only that, they do get XRP's clients, they also get Litecoin's clients, now they get Doge's clients, and also they're establishing Flare Finance. So it is a great story, and seriously, they could go through every blockchain or every crypto technology out there that doesn't have smart contracts. And that could be Bitcoin, it could be Stellar. If you look down the list, it could be, many others, that don't have those smart contract features. Now, just to remind you of Flare, the network, how it worked. Flare, the network up here, obviously has Avalanche to connect to the Ethereum virtual machine. Avalanche acts as the custodian between Flare and Ethereum virtual machine to Avalanche, and they hold the smart contracts. The smart contracts would be held here, obviously, and through the Avalanche network, then they actually use the Ripple payment system for the payments of the transactions. Okay, so you've got the best of all features here, which is fantastic. This is a genius idea. Then with that, they actually get the clients of the other blockchains or Ripple's technology clients into the Flare network. Okay, so literally this is the story you've got, and it's just an absolutely brilliant idea. And Flare, just on that basis, will make a lot of money. At the moment, it's trading as an IOU on BitTrue, also Poloniex, and I think the other one's called Gotus Exchange. Okay. Now, interestingly enough, on Poloniex, it's trading at 11.5 cents, and on BitTrue, it was trading like 25 cents. So I'll just take you to the live on that one as well. Don't forget when we got, obviously we got allocated one SP, one Spark against one XRP. Okay, so if we go to and this is how it's generated in the system, which I'm not going to go too much into that, but if we do go to the live trading of where FLR is at the moment, there does seem to be an arbitrage between BitTrue and Poloniex, which I'm not quite sure why. That IOU has to sit on that exchange. You can't download it to your wallet. It's like a cash for difference contract. You don't actually own the Flare network coin, but if you want to get exposure to the price going up of Flare network, that's where you get exposure. Now, I am very bullish the Flare network token. I think it's going to go a lot higher than where it is. So we look at the Flare network coin, FLR USDT. It's an IOU. Effectively, it is trading up, and it's trading up literally from this level here, the 08. Okay. It looks like the high on this, according to BitTrue, was around 0.3387. It does look like you can get there to me very easily. If you put it down the weekly, you can really see that. I think it will break that high again, simply because they've got more players now on their network, okay? More clients, more revenue, okay? So that looks very good to me. It's above the moving averages, looks very good indeed. If you look on pivot charts, it looks just as well. So if we go to Poloniex, you'll see that there's a big difference between the price of one to the other. And unfortunately, you can't take advantage of that price or the arb in the sense of, buying here and then selling on the BitTrue platform. But what you can do is buy just outright on Poloniex, assumingly that this is supposed to be the XFLR on Poloniex. USDT is the same as this FLR. So if I go to Poloniex, just having a look at that, it's just really strange that it's trading at such a different level. What I'll probably do, just to make sure that it is the same thing, and I'm assuming it is, does say IOU, that, I'll send some messages to the exchange, but obviously this is just telling me to buy here and expect, a bit of a rise, because it's not reflecting in the price. I mean, Bitru's price is very different. I had a look at the other exchange, Gotus, but I wouldn't buy anything on that. So for me, this looks very cheap. There is definitely an arbitrage, but we can't take advantage of that, given that we have to keep, a position on the individual exchanges. So, which makes it a bit difficult. Again, I don't really like Bitru. Bitru's been hacked, $5 million in its infancy. And when basically an exchange is being hacked, I will not be, I won't be a member or a client of that exchange. It's just too dangerous, because the security means there's a big problem with their security. So just to refresh your mind, XRP holders picked up 45,827,728,412, which is a lot of Spark. It's a huge amount of Spark, and it's 45.8 billion, which is certainly a lot. Obviously, we know that, they also announced Litecoin, and Litecoin's supposedly they're going to integrate with Litecoin, bring decentralized finance and smart contracts to that portfolio. If we look very carefully at Litecoin, it has a high concentration of whales, and also has a high concentration of, large investors as such. If you go to the players of Litecoin, looks like, the longer term players have been in it for a while, which is the blue, the cruisers are the pink, and the traders are the gold. So it looks like it's got a fairly, long term client base as such. If you look at just the stats on Litecoin, you'll be able to see the 100 richest people, and effectively it'll also tell us how many clients roughly per, how many addresses Litecoin has, which is, 2,432,141, just over 2.4 mil, which can be offered to Spark. So Spark network, the network itself, Flare Network, intends to offer Litecoin 5 billion, and it'll be very interesting to see how that's actually picked up by their clients. And obviously anything that doesn't get picked up by Litecoin's clients will be burnt. And that's pretty much what they do with that story, okay? So if we look at the next story, the DeFi story that's come on, now that's also going to be absolutely fantastic for the Flare network. And the Flare network should go up because of that. This decentralized finance built on the Flare network, they've launched their mainnet, and they've also brought in Flare Finance, okay, which is going to consist of Flare X, Flare Farm, Flare US, Flare Loans, Fair Minds, and Flare Mutual. So we go to the next slide, and as I said, Flare Finance is looking to increase the utility of Spark, Flare, and the trustless XRP, FXRP. And they're going to have main trading pairs against Flare X of FLR, FXRP, YFLR, and FUSD. And there's going to be obviously a provider's fee of 0.007 and a swap fee. And obviously, depending on what you do, whether you stake coins, whether you provide liquidity, you'll either pay fees or receive fees. You'll receive fees if you're staking, but if you're a client and you're taking out liquidity or something like that, you'll be charged a fee, or if you're doing a swap, for example. So one of the parts of this is yield farming, and it'll be basically staking of tokens in a pool of assets where you'll get a particular return on that yield farming. Another component is FLR USD, which enables the users of Flare Network to have an immediately available stable currency, Flare USD. I never know why people will use a stable currency. It's completely wrong. With stable coins, you get no upside and you get all the downside. Basically, if the US goes down, you're still going to lose money on a stable coin. A stable coin, the name is wrong. It should be an index coin because it's indexed against the US dollar, and it's just silly being invested in stable coins when you only had downside risk and no upside risk. It's absolutely stupid, to be perfectly honest with you. The next thing is they'll be looking at Flare Mutual, and this is a decentralized mutual fund that allows people to share risk together without the need for an insurance company. And I think this component is quite brilliant, absolutely brilliant, where you can actually get insurance for one thing or another, okay? So you can actually stake one currency, get the security of a project. Smart coin provides cover to the project in the event of an issue. And I think that is really, really clever, I have to say. Also, there's Flare Loans. So obviously, asset-backed loan issuance platform, enabling holders to pool their assets to be loaned against a borrowed collateral. And look, there's always risk to these things, okay? Because if the collateral gets down to a certain level, there could be, drawdown risk or, debtors collateral pool issues or whatever it might be. So there's always risk to these sort of pools, okay? Also, Flare Mine, and essentially it talks about mining certain calls and getting contributions from the mining pool, okay, which is another interesting, concept that's going to be put onto the Flare network through Flare Finance, okay. So the token ecosystem basically utilizes under Flare Finance 3 different tokens: Flare, FXRP, and what's the other one here? Where's the third one here? So it'll actually use 3. I'm assuming it's going to use that, and it'll also use Flare USD as well. Plus there'll be tokens for the individual things that it actually does, for example. So let's just bring this down. Say, for example, we've got Yield Flare token. There'll be tokens for that, and there'll be certain distributions as well. For Yield Fin token, there'll be tokens for that, and also for Yield Mining token, there'll be tokens for that as well, and they're the details of that, and you can look that up on their white paper as such, which is a very simple white paper. And don't forget, white papers don't get audited. If we look at the voting rights, if we look at the governments of this, it looks at different tokens within the government structure as a whole. And basically this would be obviously the stakers that would help with the governance of that. And basically anything that's proposed would need to be obviously voted on as such, depending on the stakeholders and that sort of thing. Talks about distribution and when those tokens happen, which I won't go through. But look, either way, this is going to be very, very lucrative for the Flare network. And I think once the Flare token issues, it's going to be a great story for those guys. Now, some people have got their Flare token already, 15%, but there is a timeline for the rest of them. The timeline is 24 months to 36 months before you get the token, which in some way is smart because it stops people from selling that token. Okay, so another one we're looking at also that's going to come into this is Dogecoin, and I'll just give you a quick rundown on Doge as well. So what is Doge? Doge's, a cryptocurrency that's proof of work, actually, and it's been around for a long, long time, since about 2013. And it was basically a fork of Litecoin, which I thought was quite interesting. So it's no wonder they can actually, utilize Doge in this way because, it's actually a fork. And, essentially that's good because it obviously uses very similar things to Litecoin. So I think this is quite interesting in itself. So Dogecoin itself is proof of work. It does have more issuance. Issuance is not capped, and I don't like Doge as a coin. Honestly, it's still proof of work. It's been around for a long time and it's never done anything. So I call it L Doge. But it did go up 185% or something like that. And just on this, and the reality is it shouldn't really be going up on this. So if we go to the next slide, basically, as I said, Doge was a fork of Litecoin, which I think is quite interesting in itself. So then if we look at basically the supply curve details of Dodge, a lot of supply is coming. They don't have a cap supply, and as I said, they're proof of work, which I thought was interesting. If you look at the return of Dodge, now if you look at the amount of addresses that Dodge has, assuming that most of these are real clients, they have over 3 million addresses, which is a lot. Okay, so it means that they have a lot of clients, which means these clients could come to the Flare network. Now, we don't know what the deal is for Dodge's clients, how much Flare are going to offer them, like Litecoin. They offered 5 billion. It might be maybe the same, we don't know, but they have more addresses than Litecoin, which had about 2.5 million, okay? Now, the interesting thing about this is the Flare network could offer, obviously, as I said before, the network for smart contracts to Stellar. It could offer to Bitcoin or to anyone else, and they just get more and more clients. So, look, it is a terrific story, I have to say, and, I think the token should do extremely well. Obviously, the disclaimer at the end there, just fix that up. This is just education only, not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and that sort of thing. It is your money. Please do your own due diligence. Thank you for listening. Susie, Crypto.